Okay, this is day, the weekend one, day 26, 27. So you can do some Saturday or some Sunday, your choice. So we're almost at the end. Sam and Tim are eating at a restaurant. Assume there's no tax for this question. They decide to leave an 18% tip. Sam says to simply multiply the bill by 1.18 to figure out the total. And Tim says to multiply the bill by 0.18 and then add it to the bill to find the total. Who's right and explain. So let's try both of them. So let me pick a value here. I'm just going to pick, let's say, I don't know, $20. So let's say their total was $20. So let's do it Sam's way. Sam says, take the $20 and multiply by 1.18. If you do that, 20 times 1.18, it's going to give you a total of $23.60 for the total. That's including the food and the tip. Now, think about what that is. So let me break up 1.18 into, what happens if I multiply 20 by 1 instead of 1.18? I just get simply $20, right? But the 18 over here, this represents the tip part. So we can just adjust that and write 1.18, which means 20 times the 1 would be 20 times the meal, and then the 0.18 would be representing the tax portion, and combined all in one, you would get the total right away. Now, this is the quick way that we talked about in class, and then those of you who don't like that, you should be very familiar with this, because past few state tests, they had a lot of questions that dealt with this, okay, in this format. Now, Tim says, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Here's $20, and let's multiply that by 0.18. Let's just find out what the tip is. So if you multiply that, $20 times 0.18, you get $3.60. And then Tim says, add the tip plus, and then add, right, the tip plus the, what do you call it, the bill. The bill was $20. Plus a tip gives you $23.60. Now, although some of you might be more comfortable with this, you have to be familiar with this method. Okay? Have to. So now the question didn't give you a value, right? So one trick or one thing you can do is pick up a value, and I picked the value of 20 as a total for the food, right? And then work that out. 2. Sam is shopping for a new t-shirt. The t-shirt is on sale for 30% off. She estimated the price by multiplying the original price by 0.7. Will this strategy work? Well, let's think about that. So let's say the t-shirt is $20 again. Okay, so let me see if I can represent this like this. So here's 0%. Here's 100% of the t-shirt. So 100% of the t-shirt means she would be paying for $20. Obviously, she's not paying $20 anymore because she has a 30% discount, which means I'm going to take 10% out, 20% out, and 30% out. So that becomes here. So what she's paying for is 70% of the value, not the full 100%. And this will be our number, right? So it's definitely a number less than 20. So if I multiply 20 by 100%, or obviously if you change 100%, remember what you have to do. You move the percent sign and move the decimal 2 over, and it becomes 1, right, as a decimal. So 20 times 1 would be just 1. So 20 times 100% of its value, it'd be 20, right? But we're not paying for 100% of the value. We're paying for 70% of the value because 30% has been taken off. Think about 30%. You move the percent sign, move the decimal 2 over. Sorry, I didn't mean to write 30%. I meant to write 70%. So 70% is what we're paying for because 30% has been, what do you call, discounted. So let's move the decimal 2 over, sorry, and you get 0.7. So if I multiply 20 times 0.7, will it get me the sale price? 20 times 0.7 should give me $14. And so I end up paying $14. That would be the discounted price. So over here, it's $14. Okay, so that's really the quick way of doing things. And again, I'll do it the other way. although I should stop doing it. $20 times the discount price is 30%. So let's figure out what the 20% is. 20% of 30% of $20 is $6. So if I have my T-shirt at $20 minus $6, which is the discount, I get 14. You get exactly the same thing. Three, Jay buys a board game for $14.99 and a roll of toilet paper for $1.09. So let's add those two. 14.99 plus 1.09. So his total expenses right now looks like it's $16.08. For using the store's credit card, he gets a 5% discount. Right? So if he from that, so think about what that is. So if he gets a 5% discount, is he paying for 100% of the price anymore? No. Minus 5% means he's going to be paying for 95%. So let's do that first. So 95% becomes 0.95. And then he gets another discount for 5%. So let's do these two first. So 16.08 times 0.95 is going to be rounded, by the way, 15.78, 15.28. But that's his discounted price. But guess what? He gets another discount of 5%. So another 5% off this price. So he's no longer paying $15.28, so he has to go down just a little bit more. So we're going to multiply that again by 0.95, right? Because that's what a 5% discount is. So, and we get 15.28 times 0.95. So now his price, it's just decreased again to $14.52 rounded. So this is his total after 2 discounts. Now he's ready to pay the tax. So now the tax, you got to multiply by 1 point something, right? And in this case, he's going to pay for 100% of the value here, which right now is 14.52, plus he's going to pay for the tax, which is 8.8875. So he ends up paying 108.8875. If we move the decimal 2 over, that becomes 1.088875. 0.08875. So if you multiply that, 14.52 times 1.088875, I think there's 3 8s. Yeah. His price with tax is going to be $15.81. Okay. And if you don't like it this way, you can always do it the old-fashioned way, which you should not. Well, you're definitely okay to do it, but you just definitely have to familiarize yourself with the other one. Cyclops bought 1 share of Enron for $5.12 in 2005. So in 2005, 1 share was $5.12. The price of the stock declined in 2006. So in 2006, this price went down. Okay, lost value by 55%. So think about this for a second. Is 0, 100%, right? So 100% of the price right now, it's $5.12. So if he loses 55%, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 55, if he lost that much, how much is left over? You're left with 45% here. Right? So after he loses 55% of the value, how much do you actually have? 45%. So let's multiply 5.12 times 0.45, because that's how much leftover you have. You don't have 100% of the value. 5.12 times 0.45. Oops. 5.12 times 0.45. Oh my God. 5.12 times 0.45 means that the stock price right now is $2.30. Now in 2007, the price went even further down. And then, so you can ignore everything prior to 2006, so just focus here. So it's $2.30, and then it takes another huge drop. So 100, 0, 100%. So right now, 100% is represented by $2.30. It's going to lose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75% of that price is gone. You lost that much. So how much leftover you have? You only have 25% of that value. So 2030 going to multiply by 25% to 0.25, right? Because you lost all the other ones. So 2.30 times 0.25. The stock price right now, rounded, is 58 cents. So if you bought a share of this company in 2005 for $5.12 and you held on to it, by 2007 it was worth 58 cents. Pam needs to earn $1,500 to buy a MacBook Air. She currently has $3.07 saved. Her parents negotiated to give her $86 a week for doing chores around the house. Writing inequality to find the minimum number of weeks Pam needs to do chores. There's a do missing here. Solve the inequality. Okay, so I know she has this much, $3.07. 7 cents. Why is it not writing? $3.07 plus 86 times the number of weeks. Right? She gets $86 for however many weeks. That has to be greater or equal to $1,500, right? So that would be my inequality. So let's solve it. So I would do minus 3.07 here, minus 3.07 here. 86W greater than 1,496.73. I think I'm right. So she needs to work. We need to find out how many weeks she needs to work, earning $86 every week. So divide by 86, divide by 86, right? Because she doesn't actually have to earn $1,500. She already has $3.07. So the number of weeks she has to work or do chores divided by 86 would be 17.40, right? So you can't really work 17.40 weeks. So we're going to say she needs to work at least 18 weeks to earn all that money. 6, solve and graph the inequality. Okay, so again, if you know how to do this, you definitely know how to do an equation. So the only difference between this is that if the coefficient is negative, you're going to have to flip that inequality sign to the other side. So let's start by doing the distributive property. Negative 8x, negative and negative is 40, plus positive 40, minus 4x, less or equal to distributive property 6x. 6 times negative 4 is minus 24, minus 18. Let's combine some like terms on each side. I can combine negative 8x, this guy with this guy, so I get negative 12x plus 40. On this side, I can combine these two, so I can get 6x minus 40. Right, so I have variables on both sides, so let's get rid of one of them. Doesn't matter who. Let's just do minus 6x here, minus 6x on this side. So these two will cross out. I'm left with negative 40 on that side, and on this side I have negative 16x and negative 6x is negative 18x plus 40. Now I can easily do this, right? So it's just simply minus 40 here, minus 40 over here. So that's going to give me negative 40 and negative 40 is negative 80. These two cross out and I get negative 18x. So negative 18x less or equal to negative 80. Divide by negative 18, divide by negative 18. A negative divided by negative is just going to be positive x. And because I divided by a negative coefficient, I'm going to flip this the other way. And 80 divided by 18 is 4.44 forever and ever. My graph should look something like this. Here's 4.44. Let me write 5. Let me write 3. Put a circle on top of this. Shade it, right? And then point that way. X has to be a number, any number greater or equal to 4.4 will satisfy this inequality. Mixing. Mary's mixing green and yellow paint to get a greenish, orangish color. To get the shade that she wants, she mixed 2/7 quarts of green with 5/8 of yellow, quarts of yellow. If she used one green, actually I should have written, let me erase that. Let me write this backwards. 2/7 green, 5/8 yellow. Right, that's what she currently used. And if she decides to use 1/4 green, how much yellow will she need? Well, this is very simple. We'll multiply by the reciprocal, 7/2. Multiply the top by the reciprocal, 7/2. The bottom ones all simplify to just 1. And on top, 5 times 7 is 35. 8 times 2 is 16. Or we can change that to 2 quarts, right? 16 goes 35 2 times, which is 32. 3/35. So this is how much quarts of yellow she will use when she uses 1 quart of green. Is the table proportional? If yes, find the constant proportionality and the equation. Okay. So let's pick, well, you actually might have to pick more than one. So let's divide this, right? So find k is y over x, right? So 22.40. Let me focus on this one. This is my y, this is my x. It tells you right there too. So 22.4 divided by 5 equals 4.48. Let me do the second one. 59.20 divided by 15 is 394. Okay. Let me do a third one just to confirm. 77.6 divided by 20 equals 388. And you can see that k for each of these, 96 divided by 25 is 3.84. So if I do the first one, I get 22.40 over 5. And let me do that again. 22.40 divided by 5. I get 4.48. So k is 4.48 for this one. Let me pick this one at the bottom. K equals 96 divided by 25. And 96 divided by 25 is 3.84. So right there, the constant proportionality, they're different. So this table is not proportional, and you don't have to do anything else. Okay, so you can use that, tell them that the constant proportionality is different. Okay, so therefore the table is not proportional, and this would not be a straight line starting from the origin. Okay, if you were to graph it. So there's that. Number 9. Sam is going to buy a truck for $24,599. She's going to put $4,000 down and will take a loan to pay the rest. The interest rate on the loan is 6.35% for 5 years. How much interest will she pay in all? All right, so truck costs this much. She obviously doesn't have the money, right, to pay all that, but she did put $4,000 down, which means she paid $4,000. So she's left over with $20,599. So she goes to the bank and says, "I'd like to take a loan. I take a loan for this," and she's going to pay it back to the bank, but obviously the bank has to make some money, and they're going to charge her a little bit, okay, and quite a lot actually. So let's see how much she's going to end up paying extra. So she's going to pay the bank. Obviously, she took a loan for $20,599. When she pays the bank back, she's going to pay that amount plus a little bit extra. Okay, hang on a second. So here you want to use this equation, right, to find out. So the principal in this case is $20,599. The interest rate is 6.35 or 0.635. No, sorry, I got 0.0635. The time is 5 years. So let's find out how much interest, how much extra she's going to be paying the bank. So 20,599 times 0.0635 times 5. She's going to pay the bank 6,540.18. So that's how much extra she's going to have to pay the bank on top of the 20,599. Okay. So 10 Here we have a triangle, so you can always draw it. It doesn't hurt for you to draw a scaling triangle. It doesn't matter who's who. This is 3x minus 5y plus 8. This is 7y minus 6x. And this is 4a plus 7x. So to find a perimeter, we add all three sides, right? So let's do that. 3x minus 5y plus 8 plus, and then plus 4 plus 7y minus 6x plus 4a plus 7x. Now I'm going to put these parentheses here, which I should have done. But because we're adding them, if I put a 1 over here, and I put a 1 over here, and I put a 1 over here, and do the distributive property, it's going to come out exactly the same. So that's why I just skipped a step. Okay, so now look at the like terms. I have 3x here. I have positive 3x minus 6x and plus 7x. So 3, so you got 3x minus 6x plus 7x. Y, so I have a 5y minus 5y plus 7y. I have these two guys over here. Sorry. And then I have plus 4a and then plus 8. So let's combine these three fellows over here. 3 minus 6, so it's going to be something x. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4x. Negative 5y, remember, negative 5y plus 7y is going to be positive 2y. There's more positives. Last two I can't combine. It's just 4a plus 8. I do know that a equals 3, x equals 2, and y equals 4. So let's change, right? Substitute 4. Instead of x, I'm going to write 2, so it's 4 times 2. Plus 2 times y, and y is 4, so 2 times 4. And plus 4 times a, and a is 3. Plus a. Now it's just multiplying these two, which is 8. Plus this, which is 8 again. And this is 12, plus 8. So total is 36. 36 units, whatever they are. So the perimeter of this triangle is 36 units. 11. Use the distributive property to create an equivalent expression. Okay, so just got to be careful with your signs here, because the rest is super easy. Negative times a positive is a negative, and 1/4 of 8 is 2. So you get 2x, right? You can just multiply negative 1/4 times 8, you get negative 2, and don't forget the x. Negative times a negative is positive, and 1/4 times 2/3. 1 times 2 is 2, and 4 times 3 is 12. I could have simplified this. I'm going to leave it like this for now. And then minus negative 1/4 times 20. Again, negative and a negative is a positive, and 1/4 of 20 is 5. Minus 7. Can I combine anything? Yes, I can only combine the last two. So 2x stays. Let's simplify that to 1 over 6. And then 5 plus negative 7 becomes negative 2. Final answer. So 12, 13, and 14, I took it from the state test last year. Okay, so you guys might recognize this question from one of the tests earlier in the year. It wasn't that great, so hopefully you're much better at it. So Jenny's goal is to run 22 miles in 5 days. All right, the table below shows her log for the number of miles she ran Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So how many more miles does she have to run on Friday to reach a goal of 22? So this is just simply, let's add this and then subtract by 22 to see how much is left over. So let's find out what 4 and 3, let's add these, okay, and see what we get. So I like, well, you can use a calculator. It's just some, if you add those three, I'm just too lazy to change it to do fractions. 475 plus 5.125, I'm changing to decimals, plus 0 plus 6.25. So let me add that in a calculator. 4.75, you can add the fractions if you like, plus 0 plus 6.25. So far she's run 16.125 miles. So she needs to run 22. So on Friday, well, let's subtract. She has this much left over, 5.875 miles to run on what do you call, on Friday. Okay, if she wants to reach her goal of 22. Now, it doesn't say keep it as a fraction, so if you change it to decimals, that's completely fine. Okay, completely fine. And honestly, I don't know why this question is a 7th grade question. It's just adding and subtracting. This one, I hate questions like this. When you think about all the kids who are struggling in New York City, I mean, that's almost a guarantee that they're not going to score on this question. I don't know how many of them have gone camping or have not. So they, can they relate to the question? The vocabulary, tarp. I mean, I have a whole class who would not know what a tarp is. Okay, it's just I don't know. But anyways, here is Mario setting a tent during a camping trip. The tent came with 7 feet of rope. The instructions are to use 34.5 inches of the rope to tie a tarp on the top of the tent. The remaining rope should be cut in 8 1/4 inch sections to tie the tent to stakes in the ground. Mario will use all the rope as instructed. Write and solve an equation to determine the number of 8 1/4 inch sections of rope Mario can cut from the rope. Oh my god. So, first thing you have to do is change this to inches, because everything here is in inches. I can't subtract feet minus inches. So 1 foot is 12 inches, so 7 feet is 84 inches. So no longer will I use this. So here's what we have. You had that much rope. So let me see if I can. Here's your tent. So here's your tent, right? It's on the ground. And to tie a tarp, okay, I have no idea what that is. So he's gonna use 34.5 inches. Let me change colors. 34.5 inches here to tie it something. To tie this to something, to a tree maybe, I don't know. Okay, so he's tying. So 84, this is inches. So he's gonna use this much rope to tie the tent to something. So after the first step, if you subtract 84 minus 34.5, that gives you have 49.5 inches left of rope. Right? So now you want to cut this into 8 1/4 inches. And 8 1/4 inches, I'm going to change it to 8.25 inches. Okay, so how much of this? So in 49.5, here's 49.5. Let me just write this. 49.5 inches. How many 8.25 or 8 1/4, depending on how many 8 1/4, what do you call segments, can I get out of 49? Okay, so we want to write an equation. It says write and solve an equation. So here's what I have. All my rope here equals to 84 inches. So, and I use 34.5 here, right? So 34.5 plus 8.25 parts. How many parts of 8.25 do I have? I don't know. And I'm going to call this, I don't know, X. Right? So 34.5 plus however many 8.25 sections is going to give me 84. So let's subtract 34.5, subtract, and we already knew that this is going to be 49.5, right? And 8.25x. Divide both sides by 8.25. And you're going to get, I just drag this over here, so divide both sides by 8.25, and let's just do it in the calculator. 49.5 divided by 8.25 is going to give you 6. So actually, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections of 8.25 each. So this was the whole question over there. Not my favorite question. 14. Okay, here is a relationship between time and distance. Okay, does a graph represent a proportional relationship? I shouldn't even tell you. You should all know. Well, yes, because it starts at 0, goes through the origin, and goes into a straight line, so we know it's proportional. What's the constant proportionality? Okay, pause. So now we know it's a what do you call? It's a proportional relationship. So what's the constant proportionality? Pick a value. Well, actually, they gave us 3, so we can pick any of the 3. Let's just pick the easy one. Right? So constant proportionality, k equals y over x. And in this case, y is 24,000. And x is 2, so the constant proportionality is 12,000. That's pretty easy. What is the unit rate and what's the equation on the right? Okay, the unit rate, well, we just found the unit rate, right? So the unit rate is 12,000 what? 12,000 miles in 1 hour. That's our unit rate. So this becomes that, and this we can turn, and we want to get an equation. I believe that's the last question. What's the equation of the line? The equation of the line is y equals kx. Y equals kx, and we know what k is, which is 12,000. Let's just substitute, so it becomes y equals 12,000 x. Last question, I think. Create an equivalent expression using the distributive property for 20ac minus 12a plus 8b. Okay, so you can use the ladder method. Those of you who like that. 12a plus 8b. What can we pull out? And you know what? Let's just pull out the biggest one. Biggest common factor. So the biggest common factor is not 2, but 4, because 4 goes in 20, goes in 12, goes in 8. Can we go higher than 4? No. So we're going to pull out a 4. And what else do they share in common? All 3 share in common. They also share the a. The a is present here in the first term, in the second term, and the third term. So now think about this. 4a times what? So now you can think about it, and you can even write it this way if you like. 4a times what? How does that become 20ac? Well, 4 times 5 is 20. And what do we have? What else do we have to put in here? Well, 4a times 5, right now, it looks like this. But you notice that there's a c there, so we have to put a c. So 4 times 5 is 20, and ac is just ac, and that's what's missing in here. So this would be 5c minus 4 times what's 12 is 3. And that's it. Because if we put an a there, then that's going to have a squared, right? So we don't want that. So 4a times 3 would be minus 12a. So far, so good. And the last one, 4a times what is 8b? Well, 4 times what is 8 is 2. The a they already share, so that one you're not going to write, but you need to write the b. And 2b. And you can always double check, right? Multiply this, multiply that, multiply this. And 4 times 2 is 8. And 8 times b is just ab. Does this look what we had originally? It does. That's it.